Hello everyone, I'm here. It's Eva. I'm gonna wait just a few seconds for people to join us. So bear with us. We'll be back in a few seconds. Thank you very much and welcome to our live streaming for the first time on LinkedIn. So it's a bit of a exciting time and a bit stressful as well. But hopefully you are with us and supporting us behind your screens as well. See you very soon now. I wonder if you can see me on LinkedIn. So I'm just trying to check that I'm visible on LinkedIn. So please, can you just make your comments and let me know if it's working for you? I think there's a 30 seconds delay. So we're going to start now. So whenever you ask your questions and you comment on LinkedIn, just to know, Saffron behind me. Let me introduce you to Saffron. She's going to help me in the background. Hello, Saffron.
Yeah. Hello,
Hello.
everyone.
So she's in the background helping me. So she's going to be reading the questions and sending them back to me here, so I can talk with you during this LinkedIn Live event. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. So I'm going to keep talking now. So I am Eva, and I've launched Ressources a year ago, over a year ago now. And the idea behind that is to help beauty brands develop sustainable product, because I know how complex it is. And so I want to share with you today sustainable beauty trends, because they are a big topic right now. And obviously, we need to master sustainability and we need to make sure that we master the trends. Let me look at the camera so you see my eyes. Let me share my presentation quickly. So today we are going to talk about sustainable beauty trends, what's out in 2022, what do you need to know about, what do you need to look for in a sustainable beauty product, or what are the interpretations of the market. I'm going to start with the intro and questions. Maybe tell me first, what are your trends? What are the trends that you have identified? Please comment on LinkedIn Live and let me know what the trends you have identified. Yes, so this is me. Hello. I have been working in industry for 15 years. I was really lucky to work in an exciting part of the industry, which is the supply side, mostly the events and the media side. I work with Customer Prof, then Makeup in Paris, Makeup in New York. I also work with Premium Beauty News for the last 8 years, where I was in charge of business development there, and also organizing events related to innovations. And so I've been visiting all the suppliers, all the trade shows, and learning about sustainability about beauty, for a long time. And sustainability is now very key to me, because I think we shouldn't create beauty product and creating waste in the planet. Beauty is about beauty. So how do we give back to Earth what she deserves? And so let's keep going. So I want you to start with giving you my sustainability definition. What is a sustainable beauty? Sustainable beauty is, sustainable in general, is the avoidance of depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. But if we go a bit further into the beauty product, it's the design of any item with its impact on humans, on the planet, and on the profit taken or generated. That's why I put this graph here. That sounds a bit complicated, but actually, we need to have people, prosperity, and planet in mind whenever we develop product. But what I mean by prosperity, as an example, like let's say that you have vanilla, you extract vanilla from Madagascar, and you have a specific farm which is your supplier in Madagascar. Let's say when you go there, you give them skills, you help them to work the soil a bit better, you help them to have more sustainable farming, and for them to be able to supply more product in the end, and better product, better quality, etc. So you develop skills with them, meaning that you don't just take away the vanilla from them, but you also give them skills and help them to have a better life. So you offer them a more prosperous life. That's just an example. But when we think about beauty, we should consider all of this. Prosperity is not just the profit that you make of your business, but the profit you give to other people, the prosperity you give to them. And we need to think about a circular aspect of beauty. It's not just about a linear aspect like create, use, and waste. We need to think about how my product can go back into the circle and benefit the planet, the people, or the prosperity that it generates. So we need to design in a way that is circular, which is very complicated in beauty. Okay, now just to give you a bit of an introduction. So what are your sustainable beauty trends? Can I read a bit of the comments? I don't see any comments yet about the sustainable beauty trends, but maybe Saffron, can you give me, have we receiving some trends? I have received before the talk actually some trends. I'm going to share them with you. Someone talk about global anti-waste movement, the upcycling, the awareness of energy sobriety, transparency in all areas. It's interesting because this is kind of giving you a bit of the trends. Someone talked about the sustainability claims that are everywhere, including in the beauty industry, and it's a good trend, but real innovation toward more green and clean or greenwashing. We need to know what are actually trends and what is actually sustainable and what is not, because it's easy to make something, to think that we are doing sustainability, or to claim that we're doing sustainability, but in essence, are you doing that, or have you got proof that you are doing this? And so my interpretation of the trends for this year, and it's only for this year, and you know that when you develop product, obviously you have a vision that can go a bit longer term, but I wanted to show you vision for now, for 2022. So what are the trends that I've identified? I've got 5 main trends. I think we need to talk about new materials. There's a lot of them coming up in the market. They are really interesting and challenging at the same time. So let's talk about that. Refill revolution. Obviously, nothing new here, but it's really like taking shape right now. And we can see the different aspects of how refill is going to take place into the market and how it's going to impact us. Then we have the waste management. Today it's all about waste and designing out waste, also managing waste in the beauty industry. This is really a strong trend. And I think we're going to see more and more on that, because we need to manage our waste. We'll go a bit further in details later. Then we have edutainment and authenticity. I think we need to educate consumer in a way that relates to them and in a way that is attractive. And that makes them connecting to our brands. So it's not just about telling them how it works, but like educating them in an entertaining way. There's TikTok, there's many ways you can do that. So it's really interesting. And the last trend is accessible beauty. We've seen a bit of new product coming up in the market at the end of last year. And I hope we're going to see a bit more. And this is an extension of the inclusive and diverse beauty, which we should be still looking at, and we should still be developing product on that, but this is an extension. Also, I wanted to come back to the definition and say to you that it's no longer enough. It's no longer enough enough now to be sustainable. You have to prove you have more than that. You have to have a purpose as a brand. Meaning that you can't just say, I'm sustainable, I'm green, I like my consumers are diverse, whatever. You need to have something more than that, because sustainability today is an obligation. It's kind of, you have to be sustainable. But what's behind that? What does your brand stands for? What do you wake up in the morning and go to work? Why do you work for your brand? Why do you develop your brand? And what's the ethos of your brand? Because sustainability is no longer enough anyway. And so you need to go a bit further. Going back to the trends. So if I go into details about the new materials, what does that mean? There are pros and cons to new materials, because the pros is that it's innovative, it's very new, so there's a lot of, so it's story worthy, meaning that brands or you as a marketer or as a supplier or company, you have something new to say. So it's innovative, it's story worthy, and it's an interest from investors. People would want to invest in new materials. We can see today there's many investors that are looking for new materials and to invest in that field. So it's quite interesting to see that investors are putting their money in there, because investors are quite touchy in what they want to invest in. So interesting to see that. Also, a lot of indie brands are embracing this, so they're testing out the system. So which is interesting for bigger brands, because obviously for legacy brands, it's a bit more difficult to implement an innovative solution, because it's a lot of expense of trial and test and time, and you need to make sure that it's right for your brand. And also, these new materials have no petroleum, obviously, because they are from natural bioorganism or bioplants or natural product. So there's no petroleum involved. Having said that, petroleum is actually from beginning is a natural element. Is the transformation of it that is not really digestible for the planet as it is today. Plastic is not easily digestible by the planet. Anyway, the cons and the negative side of the new material, we need to educate consumers about these materials, how to discard them, how to waste, how to dispose of them, what to do, and how to use them. The waste management is really complicated, is a bit complex. We have limited shapes and colors because of the limited aspect of these shapes. Then we can't do everything we want. We have to, it's a bit complex. There's not always a formula compatibility with the cream or with the ingredient or with your product, so it's not really easy to know whether it's going to be compatible, and you have to do a lot of tests and trials. And as I said, indie brands are likely to try that because they've got more leverage or more space to do this, so they're likely to do this. So it's quite interesting. On the side of the new material, I wanted also to talk to you about the monomaterial and the switch from plastic to glass or aluminum or paper or ceramic, for instance. A big trend right now is that people are moving into ceramic jars, for instance, meaning that the ceramic jar would be the mother or the host packaging, and then the refill will be a plastic, for instance, which is really interesting. And we are moving away from mixed material and plastics to glass, aluminum, paper, and ceramic. Bear in mind that all of these monomaterial solutions have their pros and cons as well. And this is something we mentioned in the course, in the packaging course, that some solution would be counterintuitive, actually. Like moving to glass, or aluminum, both of these elements, they are working well if you are intending to use them in a reuse system and refillable beauty. In a one-off beauty, if you use only non-recycled, but virgin material, it's really costly in terms of carbon footprint. So you need to measure all of these aspects, and you may think that things are really simple, but they're not that simple and they're not that intuitive. So that's why we created a course about packaging, to give you insights about what solutions are interesting and what are the ones that you should implement. An interesting innovation on the new material is the Shellworks. They developed a new material called Vivomer, which is made from microorganisms from marine and soil environment. And basically, they eat something and they create a little monomer. And then with this one, it can be transformed into a solid monomer. Let me show you what it looks like. I've got an example here of how the packaging looks like. So this is one of them. So they are working on the colors. As I said, it's with monomaterial, with new materials, the colors are a bit limited, but this is an example of the colors that you can achieve. You can have like a light pink for this one. I don't know if you can hear maybe this. So it sounds a bit like plastic, but more like bakelite rather than proper plastic. So it's really interesting. And this is one of the other color. This is like a brownish, I don't know if you can see, yeah, a brownish. So you see it's a grainy texture, which is quite interesting. So if you want to promote this and communicate about that in your marketing, this is quite interesting. So maybe you can see again here, I don't know. It's a grainy type of material. So it's really interesting. They've got another color here. They've got other jars. There's a blue color. So it's quite a soft material. But to me, the only thing I would say about that is like it looks still a bit like plastic, which is fair enough. You want it to host your material. They say it's formula compatible, and it has been compostable certified, which is interesting as well. They have limited colors. I think they've got a range of probably 10 colors in their company. What I would say about this, you need to educate your consumer if you're going to use that, because it's gonna be a new way to dispose of this. They can put it in their garden, and this will dissolve in the very end. It won't stay like that, but because it's quite thick, as you can see, it will take time to dissolve. It will take time to dissolve completely in the garden. It's not like a biofilm. So consumers may be surprised if they see that after 2 or 3 years in the garden. We don't know how long it's going to decompose in a garden. It's mostly better to use it in an industrial composter, and it will degrade in a few weeks in this composter. Again, the tricky thing about this, you need to be really clear in your communications. You need to be really specific about how people are going to use it, are going to store it in their bathroom, or are going to dispose of it. Because if this is going to go into the plastic stream, this will degrade the plastic stream because it will interact badly with the plastic molecules. But today we can say that it's not that bad because actually plastic is still widely recycled, but still it's something to watch for. And some brands so this is one of the example. We got another example, and brands are reluctant to go there, but Chanel #1, actually all of their caps are from the Sulapak range, and they're made of a bio compound as well, which is made from wood. So it's an interesting take on these new materials and how we can use them. So yeah, just to give you an example. Now I wanted to go to the refill revolution. Obviously, refill is a big trend right now, and everybody's jumping on the wagon, but it's a bit tricky. There are 4 ways to refill. You have in-store system. You have the body shop refill system, for instance. You may have seen that. You have the cozy machine. I guess it's a device that's been put in a supermarket, or not a supermarket, but like a shop, mostly for beauty shops, like Yves Rocher in France or Clarins are using their system, and this is really interesting, and it's safe. For cosmetics products that are leave-on product. Usually the refill system works really well for rinse-off products, because products are being rinsed off, and it's usually with sulfate, SLS, and cleaning product. So then it's safer to refill the bottle, because there won't be any degradation of the formula inside the bottle. For skincare product, leave-on product is a bit more complex, because you need to make sure that it's safe for the face, for the skin, and you won't have any bacteria interaction when you refill the bottle. So usually they have to clean, and Cozy created this system that is like airtight for the formula. There's another way, which is having an in-store dual SKU, dual product. So basically you will have your product like that in your store, and then you will have the refill on the side that you would buy. Meaning the problem with this is like it takes time and space, and it takes space into the retail space, and we don't have much space. It's the same for the in-store machine. It takes a lot of space in the retail space, and it's costly for the retailer. So not always easy, but it's a trend, it's moving. Sorry. We also have another way to refill is the membership. Some brands like What Matters, Charlie Refill, or Wild or Easy, for instance, they have developed a membership system where people sign up, consumers sign up for like a monthly or a bi-monthly refill, and they receive their cleaning product or their bathroom product whenever they need a refill of their product. A new way of refill, which is interesting. In the dual SKU, now we have extemporaneous formula with Eccles or 900 Care. Here's an example with Eccles. So basically, they've got these little pills that you put into your ceramic jar. Here is a ceramic dispenser, and this is a hand wash or shower gel wash. And basically, you put your pill, and then you add some water, and then you wait. They say just wait 30 minutes. Some people, with some brands, you have to wait sometimes a bit longer. And this is a new way to refill. This is really interesting because it's a new way to use beauty, and you save water in the same time as giving them a new experience and a new way to use and to refill beauty. It's a bit tricky because extemporaneous formula are really hard to manufacture and to get it right. And it works so far for wash off product and rinse off product again. I don't see anything on the leave-on product or the skincare product because it's a bit more complicated, as you can guess. And so maybe we'll see that in a future. But this is how it works right now. So this is a very interesting innovation, and there's many brands that are doing this. You have 900 Care in France. You have an Eco refill as well, a brand in France. You have other brands in the UK, many brands in the US as well doing this. So it's really, really coming on into the market, and it's one of the new trends of the new refill system. This is a trend to watch out. And another way, as I said, the dual, like the dual reference in the shop. Then here you have the example for Innisfree. They've developed this pouch that is just that refill their dispenser, and the dispenser is actually made of a new material as well. It's from reclaimed coconut peel. Really interesting because Innisfree is a brand from Asia, from Korea, from South Korea. So interesting that they use coconut there and minerals to reduce the use of plastic. So and it makes a very like soft, I guess, packaging. It looks very soft. And on the refill side as well, one of the good news that happened last year, now we can have pouches. I can show you an example. You can have refill pouch that are in monomaterial. Like this one, for instance. Before, we would used to have like a layered plastic pouch, which were not recyclable because they were made of many material. And now we come with a pouch that is in monomaterial, meaning that you can dish it into your bin and it will be recycled. Usually it's a PE or a PET, which is a widely recycled plastic. So interesting. And to learn more about what types of plastic are being recycled, we also developed in the course a recycling content where we really focus on this because we found that the recycling is really difficult to understand, and we don't know what actually gets recycled and what doesn't. And regarding beauty, it's really interesting. Looking at the comment, I can see that someone is talking about carbon neutral. You think that carbon neutral and circular economy is one of the trends. Interesting you mentioned carbon neutral. Because I find it really hard regarding the claims zero waste, carbon neutral, carbon positive, all of this. How do you achieve that? Because as soon as you manufacture something, you spend some carbon, right? You waste some carbon. So how do you get it back? And usually, brands can do what it's called carbon offsetting, meaning that they buy a chunk of forest or something to buy back carbon and implement that into their business plan. This is interesting, but we need to be careful with this because this might be taken one day as a bit of a greenwashing. I think instead of carbon neutral, I think it's good to have carbon reduction and make sure that whatever you do or whatever you implement with your brand, you are reducing your carbon impact actually in any way, shape or form you can, in your manufacturing practices, in the product, in the shape and the size and the depth of your product, making sure that everywhere you develop your product, you've got a way to reduce your carbon impact. So I see another comment. Biodegradable plastic and ocean plastic in beauty product. Yes, you can have biodegradable plastics and ocean plastics. I think you mean maybe you mean biodegradable material, because biodegradable, sorry, and plastic, they are two different things. We try to call them differently now. So this is one of the trends you have identified. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in the recycled content, actually, when I talk about the waste management and the fact that brands are capturing ocean plastics and to put it into their recycling in their product. And then this way they have half a bottle. For example, this is a bottle that is made of 100% recycled content. This is not ocean plastic, to be fair. This is PCR PET. But this is really interesting that brands also can capture ocean plastic. This is one of the big trends as well, obviously, in the supply side and in the market. Okay, let's go back to the trends. So waste management, going back to recycling and all of that. Waste management now is really key. So it's one of the big trends that I've identified. The problem is not plastic or other materials, but it's the waste. Only 3% of beauty products are currently recycled. With about 120 billions units manufactured annually by the beauty industry, it's a lot of waste. And the issues with waste are shapes and sizes, material complexity, inexistence of recycling stream, a low quantity of finished product, so low rentability. Let's say like this is the size of beauty product. This is the size of beauty product, for instance, and they're quite small. When you compare to a bottle, let's see this and this. When you compare to a bottle, let me change my screen so you can see me better. When you compare to this is quite, you've got a lot of material here, and it's the same material. It's only PET, even the cap, and then here is like a small material, and it's well, let's say that it's a regular plastic. You don't have the same amount here, and maybe in beauty, what you can have different layers in your cap, for instance, and different layers inside your packaging, in your jar as well. And this makes it really complex to recycle, because it takes a lot of people to dismantle all of this, and there's not much material left compared to this, which is simple. You just you squash it, put it together, and then it's recycled. So it's a bit complex to recycle beauty product right now. I can see a question regarding, I'm going to answer the question. Yes, the pouch can be recycled in the recycling facilities right now. You're asking me about this that I just showed. This can be, yeah, because what's happening, like when a recycler is receiving a lot of pouch like this, they're going to start working on collecting them and recycling them. But because this one is quite heavy, if it was a plastic, like the plastic bag, it depends on the country and it depends on the recycling system. It's not all equal, but it could work. But because this is heavier than a plastic bag, a regular plastic bag, this would be recycled in the bottle stream, if you like. Okay, let me continue to the waste management and to this. Okay, let me go back. So you can see that managing and controlling our own waste is the answer. And many brands are developing their own waste management system to offer a better end of life to their product. Like there's a lot of in-store collections and reward, like with L'Occitane, with Credo Beauty, and Pact Collective. You've got Sephora that is doing something in France. TerraCycle is working with many brands. There is Beauty Cycle in John Lewis in the UK. And there are like many brands that are working together to develop their own waste management collection. Because the problem with beauty, because these products are very difficult and very different in size and shapes, it's difficult for a recycler to recycle them because of the volume. They don't have enough product to be able to recycle them. So one of the ways to tackle that will be to beauty brands to collectively work together to collect product and to make sure that the product we collect are helpful, and then are reused or recycled behind that, and then reintegrated into the chain of use. So I've got an example here. What you need to do to work on your waste management, you need to have recycle-ready design. You need to make sure that your material choice, PP, PE, PET, HDPE, for instance, are recycled, widely recycled plastic. So whenever you develop a product, make sure that it's in this range of products. If you can use recycled content in your product, mechanical or chemical recycling, from ocean waste or from consumer waste, however you want. You need to avoid metallization, avoid heavy decoration, and product restitution should be about 95%. For this pump, for instance, these are fully are the same product. Oh, sorry. These are the same product and the same one monomaterial. This is monomaterial as well. This is really interesting. So meaning that we can recycle everything together now, and it's going to improve as well. The recycling companies are going to capture that as well, are going to identify this product and work on them together. There is also a lot of regulation coming in the market regarding recycling. In France, for instance, or in Europe in more general, you won't be able to put a product on the market unless it's recyclable. You won't be able to. You won't be allowed to put a plastic or a material that is not that doesn't have a recycling stream. That's why a lot of brands, makeup brands, are moving from ABS plastic to PETG, for instance. So whatever you manufacture, you need to make sure that you have a recycling stream. And maybe brand needs to work together to develop a consortium and to recycle some things. Like in the US, there's a consortium of big brands that are working together to work on the recycling of the small formats. Because the problem with beauty as well is the small formats, and because they're too small, they pass through the chain and they get discarded in between. And so we need to make sure we can capture everything. There is a company in the UK based Impact Recycling. They have developed a system where they shred all the plastic, every material before they sort them. So they will shred everything, and with a different level of different bath, they can split and separate the material, because plastic have different densities. Some plastic would be lighter than others, so they would just float. Some other would just dig deep in the water because they are heavier. And so they've developed this new recycling way, and they're trying to expand. That will expand in Europe and in elsewhere in the world. And the way for them to do is like they shred all the plastic beforehand, so that they recycle all of the plastic, including all of the mixed material. So if you have a packaging that is mixed material, if you put that in their recycling system, then it will be shredded and crushed before, and then recycled. So which is kind of interesting. Really interesting, actually, not just kind of interesting. Are you still following me? I can see some comments. Sarah is asking, like, co-pa talks. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, so I will look into this, and maybe we can have a private discussion about this, Sarah. There's another side of beauty that we don't always talk about, but Galenia has launched at the very end of 2021 an anti-waste operation where they were selling products that were coming out of date, that were coming at the end of their life within 6 to 8 months, and they gave to their consumers a 70% discount. Meaning that consumers would be able to buy their own product, to buy the Galenia product for like a 70% off. And then this way, Galenia, instead of wasting and ditching this product at the end of their life, they would be able to make something of the product. It's interesting because with the operation, they were really transparent about the fact that the product was still safe and good to use, but because of the limited date of use, they wouldn't be able to sell them. And to be fair, many retailers today don't take products that are over 6 months, that under or like within the 6 months end of life, because they know they wouldn't be able to get rid of the stocks. So you have a limited time in which you can sell your product to a retailer. And if you don't have a direct-to-consumer website or something to sell your product, it can be tough. And so there's a large practice as well that brand wouldn't really say, but like with luxury brands, they prefer to ditch the product than sell them to discounted price, because some brands, they don't want to do discounts. Fine enough, we have different ways, but this has brought a lot of discussion in the industry and for consumers. So it's interesting to look at what brands are doing and the way they are trying to manage their waste. Okay, last one of the not last one, the fourth one is about educate through transparency. 49% of consumers say they have no information to verify the sustainability claims, and 44% say they do not trust product sustainability claims. So we need to educate ourselves. We need to educate our teams so we can pass on the right messaging to the consumer. We need to make sure that whatever we do, we can back up our claims. And really, that's why I have created a resource to help you back up your claim and make the right decision about sustainability and product development. So that whatever product you choose, you have the information to back up your claim and to look for the right news, the right information. So entertain your consumers through the metaverse, through online content or quizzes or sustainability information. Just communicate with them, and as well as you would collaborate to create a new color for the for, I don't know, for your lipstick range, maybe, ask them about sustainability and talk to them about, what did you understand about sustainability? Consumers, they don't want to hear sustainable, clean, eco design, green. It doesn't mean anything to them anymore. Sorry, we need to be a bit more specific. I'm sorry. So one of the ways to be transparent is through technology. Provenance.org, which is based in the UK, they have developed their own technology where they can track all of your product sourcing and give consumers the information. So they tell them what are your product credential, carbon footprint, whether you are, how your products are made, and this is traceable on their website and on their application. So it's really, really interesting. Another way is Lumi ID, and they've developed a system where you can have in your packaging the recycling instruction on all the information about how to recycle and to discard of your product. With the regulation coming into force regarding sustainability and the fact that you have to prove what you're doing now, and you have to say, and you have to be more transparent about your communication, having a QR code in your packaging or somewhere that tells the consumer all the information they need to know about the provenance, the information, or the dispose of their product, then it's really interesting. Then you become really, interesting to them, and they can work with you. And actually, you will have to do that anyway with the regulation. You will have to explain how to work with your product. An interesting find is Shady Club as well. They've developed a plugin which is called anti-greenwashing, and it's usually for fashion. And basically, these little emoticons here will be placed on the article you're trying to buy. Will be placed on the article you're trying to buy, and depending on the rating of the wording that is used on the page or on the article itself. Interesting. So this is something to watch out, because this in the long run will impact your brand as well. So this is an example of Baby Beauty and how they explain, and they are really transparent about their beauty product. Here they explain how to recycle at the bottom here, at the bottom right, how to recycle the product, what to do with the carton, what to do with the cap and the glass container, what to do exactly with the product. So again, it's all about being completely transparent, completely honest, and you can't go about it now. But transparency doesn't mean too much information. You have to be really like explaining what you do, and being really specific about your information. One of the last trends is about accessible beauty. We've seen a lot of interesting innovation in the last year. And now it's an extension of the diversity beauty. When we talk about beauty standards about shape or form or color of skin, etc., and multiculturalism, we are working on it right now. But to be fair, I think the Americans are way ahead of us on that. And European, we need to catch up on this and be more diverse in the team. And I think it starts with the team. How many people from different background or different color or different life do you contact, or do you work with when you develop new product? Is it 50-50, or is it like just 1%? This is not enough. We need to be a bit more. And now, regarding easy and accessible beauty, these are the design that are coming. It's a growing trend. Here is an example with Olay. They've developed this product that is a limited edition, but with an open lid prototype for people with disability. Really, really interesting. We can see also there is another design which is interesting with Degree, Shaw, or Rexona. They've developed this system for disabled people as well, where there's a magnet, meaning that you don't have to twist or to screw the top, but you just have to take it, and then the way there's an easier way to handle the product. There's an interesting video actually online about this product, so I would recommend you to look for it. So I think we're going to see more of this product into the market in 2022. Sorry, I hope so, because accessible beauty is one of the way forward. There's another brand as well called Cole Creative, where they have like pencil and they have like brushes that are, instead of being round like this, they are actually square, meaning that it's easier for people with disability to hold them and to keep them in their hands and to use them. So this is really interesting. I'm looking at the chat to see if there is any question. No, I can't see any question just yet. So I'm gonna keep going. Anyway, what are your trends? What are the trends that I've identified? I'm gonna go to the question and answers. Is there any other? We wanted to ask you a question about what are you struggling with sustainability? What is difficult for you? And where you are at in your sustainability journey. Is it easy for your brand to be sustainable and for you to switch your portfolio? I don't know, Saffron, if we have got answer from that. Did you have the time to ask the questions on the chat? I can't see the chat on LinkedIn. And this is here. Okay, question and answer. Oh, okay, cool. I can see the question now. Are you comfortable with your messaging, or what is stopping you from implementing more sustainable solution? Is it cost? Is it innovation too slow or too low? You can't find what you want, or what is stopping you from your sustainable actions? I'm gonna give you a bit of information because I feel like your role as a beauty brand is to tackle waste, to build a bulletproof messaging. Bulletproof meaning that you know what you're talking about and your consumer know what you're talking about, to find the right solution for your brand or portfolio, and to know where to start or what to tackle next in your product development, because your product is going to be in the market in 18 months time. So you need to know whether your product in 18 months or 9 months or whatever is going to be relevant still at that time. Like if you go to new material, is it going to be is it going to be working? Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about it together. Develop product that will remain relevant and bring change. You need to bring change now. We can't just keep going with the way about it. Yes, going back to the trends, someone is asking me about the solid. Yeah, I didn't talk about solid beauty because here I wanted to focus about packaging, but obviously solid or waterless or water reduction beauty is a big trend. The complexity with this is the messaging again, because even if it's a solid or like oil-based formula, or like other types of formula, it still uses water in the manufacturing process. So in the messaging, you need to be clear and maybe use reduction instead of like water-free or waterless, because it can be a bit misleading. Or you need to be very specific on what it means. Yes, it's a very big trend. Right now, what we see is like the carbon impact of the most beauty product. The biggest impact is when it's with consumers, because consumers will use water, they will use electricity, they will use different things to use their beauty product. So then when you do a life cycle assessment of your beauty product, the consumer side is really what's damaging the overall life cycle of your product. So the solid formula in this sense are quite interesting because you self-use less water. But it turns out that the consumers, when they use this transformative or this solid shampoo or solid solid washing bar, they seem to be using more water than regular beauty product. So this is a trend to watch for that effect, because this might backlash on the beauty brand as well. This might come back to you. So you need to be a bit careful about that. But let's see. Thank you for your question, Benoit. Okay, so if you are lost with your best option and messaging for your brand, you may have tried to ask information to your supplier. You may have been to events, conferences, or innovation talk, or you follow the trends online. But do you have all the answers? And what if you could find all the answers in one place, and with beauty professionals and only regarding beauty, and not other stuff that doesn't concern you beauty? We have developed Resource, which is an online platform with two main courses about sustainability, packaging, and formulation, because we think these are the two things that you need to learn about. Packaging and formulation, these are the basic that every product manager or brand developer should know. And then the marketing claims is going to come next. And then we're going to work on labels and certification, sustainable retail, and diversity and social impact. Because we believe that it's because you know that you'll be able to talk to your consumer. Because if you yourself have the knowledge, have the information, then you can back up your claim and you know what to talk to your consumer, and you are bulletproof in your messaging. How does it work? We have one course, which is the sustainable beauty packaging. We talk with the introduction, where we take you through what sustainability is and how we used to do packaging before. So we talk about the history of packaging, Then we talk about consumer trends to give you, again, what consumers are expecting from the packaging of your beauty product. We talk about packaging life cycle so that you understand what it means when people talk about life cycle. We also talk about all the different materials. What is the difference between a PP, PET, PCR, PIR, glass, aluminum, paper? What are all the difference in this? And then we review recycling. What does it mean to recycle? How does it work? And why my beauty product can't be recycled? And what are the innovation on that front? What are recycling innovating on? Then we talk about recycling plus, meaning the chemical recycling. What does it mean to chemical recycled product, and how does it work today? And what are the innovation on that front? And then we also have a lot of regular life lessons, meaning testimonials from beauty brands that give you their information about that. And then we finish the course with innovation review. We give you all of the information about the innovations here. I give you like just a trend. It was just half an hour. But in the course, you will have two sides of innovation: the innovations coming from the brands and innovation coming from the supply side. Thanks to 15 years of experience, I've got a huge network of people following me and helping me get the latest content. And so we give you that, and only related to beauty again. So you don't have to go through the information and to find the one that is interesting for you. So that's what we built. And we love our content because we know that it changes lives, and people that have been doing this, brand mostly, marketing manager, have had a different, since then they've been able to implement different things. So it's an online course only. You go to your own pace, yeah, and it's about 2 to 3 hours a week to spend on there. We have one live session once a week on a Wednesday afternoon, this time actually, and then we have a community together. So we build a community, and you work with other learners, and you exchange experience, and you talk together about what you tried and what didn't work, what worked for you, and then you work together in a community. Because we believe in freedom through the power of knowledge. Because we think that if you have the knowledge, then you have the power to change the world. How does it work? This is a screenshot of the system. So maybe I can share another screenshot. Oh, someone is asking. Okay, let me go back to the questions. Someone is asking a question about the folding carton. Yes, I didn't talk about paper because to me, paper is one of the big trends, obviously. Paperization, we call about that we're moving to paper in beauty. Paper, it's interesting because recycled paper is actually kind of a more important footprint than actually carbon footprint than actually virgin paper. So you need to make sure that you measure all of your impact on that as well. It's not because it's recycled, it's craft or whatever, that is necessarily better for the environment. So you need to make sure that you measure the entire life cycle of your product to when you use folding carton. But obviously, I've got an example here. This is an example of what's done now in beauty, where you have the box, and then now you used to have like a plastic inside, and now you have a carton here, which is really nice actually. You don't have any more plastic, so everything is made of cardboard. Another example for paper, for instance, here, which is an interesting innovation. Where is that? It's here. We have like papier glacé, which is an innovation from they do paper, which is like and then you can protect your product in that. This is papier glacé. I don't know what, ice paper, I guess. And they made it like, so there's a little hole at the end, which means that if it's folded together, it doesn't. There's hair that can go through, so then it doesn't crush the paper. And this can be good for like gifting or something like this. This is like a pouch, paper pouch, if you like, for your product. Just an example. These are really interesting because this is 100% paper, but again, measure the carbon impact. I didn't talk about the new Chanel innovation with the ecoform as well, with the paperboard, the mix of sugarcane waste as well as wood that made a molded box, which is really interesting as well. But again, we don't know about the carbon impact on this one, and I don't know from this impact to the virgin paper if it's better. We are measuring this, but we don't have the information just yet. Okay, going back, maybe I should go to resource and explain to you how it works. So once you are with us on the course, you can once you become a member, This is how the platform looks like. So here you will have the entire course, etc., that will go around. You can go around and look for the content that you want. And usually when there's a little arrow at the bottom here, it means that you have done this side. The way we build the course, we made it like we have a presentation first, for instance, and then second we would have the video explaining the content, because we find that it's not easy to have just report to download or to watch. You need to understand what the expert meant. We have invited experts from the beauty industry to work with us. So this is an example of the content. And obviously everything is subtitled as well. So meaning that you must listen, you can listen without the sound. And then you can see what's happening here. And this is all entirely subtitled. So, and it's all in English. So if you are not sure about what people say, then you have the subtitles here. Anyway, here is an example. I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to go back to the presentation. So yes, there we go. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. It's really easy, honestly, and you have, again, as you have the people here, and there is about let's say there is about 17 topics on the course, on the packaging course, and we really want to help you to go through all of the content. It's not technical. We don't talk to technical to packaging technologies because we don't want to target them, but we're targeting marketing professionals from beauty brands that are developing the product, so that when you want to develop a product or when you want to develop something new, you know what to say to your packaging technologist or to your suppliers, and you can ask them things with the proof to back up what you mean, because you've been trained, so you know what you need to ask for in terms of packaging and sustainable development. I want to show you an example of someone who did the course with us, Fanny from Auto Brand. She has an interesting testimonial, and she told us why she enjoyed the course. Let me put her on full screen for you to see.
I think it was these light bulb moments. So wherever you thought that something was super sustainable and actually you demystified the thing and explained why, although it's counterintuitive, it's not exactly the case. And other light bulb moments where obviously the course shares information about supplier innovations and suppliers that we might not know about because they're not in our supplier database. That you can feel your brain's cogs starting to work because you realize, okay, this is how we could leverage this for the brand, for this project in the future, or this is the project that we could launch 3 years from now to actually leverage this.
Anyway, so this is it. So yeah, so this is me. I don't know if I hope this helps. If you let me share something just to finish. I want to give you my details. So if you want to reach me, this is me. We are launching the new packaging course now. It's going to be live from the 9th of February. Honestly, I think everybody from the beauty industry should do that because we all need information and we all need to back up our claims, especially right now as the regulation are coming tougher and tougher. So we also cover the regulation. I didn't put that into the topic, but we are also covering regulation to tell you what's happening in terms of packaging, so that as a marketing professional and as a professional of the beauty industry in general, you know what to do and you know what's next and you know how to develop your product. So I hope this helps. Do you have any more questions? Am I still live on LinkedIn? You can follow us on Instagram. We are gonna, what I do usually on Instagram, I give insights, I give information about what's happening in beauty and how we're moving. And I'm giving you, like, I showed you like an innovation here. And usually what I do on Instagram, I try to decipher one innovation. I will take, one product and explain to consumers why this is tough to recycle or why this is complicated to produce, to manufacture. Like 100% PCR, for instance. Someone from beauty brand the other day said, how come I can't do 100% PCR? Well, first, because it's expensive. Second, because it's hard to find a lot of PCR on the market right now. And third, because mechanical and physical property of your product are going to be different, but it's 100% PCR. That's why you still need a bit of virgin element, either aluminum or plastic or whatever. You need a bit of virgin material to make sure that your product is going to work and is going to have the mechanical property that you want it to have. And also the physical properties. Like if you want something transparent and white, you can use PCR. So that's an example. And it's the same for glass, aluminum. Aluminum doesn't change in aspect, but for makeup, for instance, aluminum is not so shiny, and you can't it's less shapeable, if you like, because it's harder to shape into something new. So anyway, so this is us. I hope this was interesting to you. Sorry for coughing. It's been winter, so I guess I'm more sensitive. But yeah, this is us. So follow us and let me know if you have any questions. Any questions before I go? If there's not any question, I'm gonna let you down. I'm gonna let you now. I mean, sorry. And we give you a 20% discount on the course until the 28th of January. So we're gonna send it to you by email. We're not gonna put it on LinkedIn here, but yes, we're gonna give you the discount 20% off until the 28th of January for the packaging course. I think all the teams in the beauty industry should join us, and every professional should do it. So if you don't think it's for you, but if you know someone that would be really interested, just pass on the information, and happy to organize a call also if you want to have a call with us. These are my details at the bottom here. You've got Calendly, 20 minutes with Eva, then we can talk about this. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us on LinkedIn. I think this has been recorded and this will stay on LinkedIn for some time. So you can always watch it again. And thank you for your time.